Alright guys, back with the review. Concluding part, we had some technical difficulties yesterday with that leg. I'm going to cut all that part out of the review because I struggled with it for like almost like a long time. So I'm going to get rid of all that. Here is the concluding part. I finally was able to get his leg back on there. It was a little tricky, about as tricky as the right arm. When it came off, it took me a while to get that, pop the right arm back in, but I was able to finally figure it out. Same thing with the leg yesterday, so I'm gonna move him aside and show y'all real quick. So I tried to draw like a little schematic here. It's not the best drawing, but I just did it real quick. Basically, when his leg popped off, you have this piece sticking out. So there's a peg right here, ball peg like on the end of it. So this is basically like inside of like the hip. And then this is kind of like where the leg comes off as a separate piece. So you have like this little cap that kind of swivels around, and then this is supposed to be like, you know, Vader's thigh or whatever connected to that cap, and the thigh kind of swivels around. So I kept trying to put the cap on the front, like from the front, was trying to connect it and get it to key into get the ball peg to key into there. But turns out I had to swivel it in a way so that it would connect from the back, and so that the ball peg would kind of be in front, and then, you know, from there kind of maneuver the thigh around, get it facing straight again. So just in case that happens to your Vader, or like for some reason his leg pops off, hopefully that's helpful, you know. I mean, that was unexpected. Definitely didn't want it to happen during the review, but hey, then again, you know, that's why we review these things. So in case we run into these issues, we know how to fix them. So in case your Vader's leg pops off, don't panic. Don't think it's broken or anything. Just make sure that you connect this cap piece from the back when you're trying to put it back on, when you're trying to key it in, instead of from the front. And you have to do a little, you know, finessing with it, kind of maneuver it, but it should be able to pop back in once you get this piece behind the ball peg and connect it from the back that way. So just wanted to throw that in there. But with that out of the way, we get the last part of the clean figurine scale. So since I was able to get his leg back on there, I'm going to try to give him a rating for posability now. So I'm not going to go too crazy with it because I definitely don't want any more joints popping out on me. But I am going to try to get him into some somewhat dynamic poses so I can give him a rating on the scale. And then I'll give him his final score, because after that we will have covered all categories. And yeah. Oh, real quick, because I did mention this yesterday, but that part is going to be cut out of the video, so I'm going to show it now. Slide his lightsaber out. I want to show y'all a quick close-up of his saber. I can get this out of his hand. Let go, Vader, let go. There you go. Alright, so here is his lightsaber. Really, really nicely detailed. I wanted to give you guys a close look at it. The silver and black paint looks really nice. As far as I can tell, it's very movie accurate. This hilt here, the silver at the bottom. And you got even these little gold kind of buttons, like on the side, those tiny gold buttons right there. The top looks really good. Anakin and Darth Vader have like a very distinct lightsaber hilt. I believe there is a bit of like variation between Anakin's and Vader's hilt. Like, I think at face value, they look exactly the same, but I'm pretty sure Vader's hilt is a little bit different from Anakin's, but you know, pretty similar for the overall shape and design. And then yeah, you got this nice long you know, blood color red blade. I really like the darker color of red that they use for the blade on this one, and I like that it kind of tapers as it, you know, extends. So you got the thick piece that connects, you know, at the start of the blade, and it gradually gets like thinner and thinner as you get to, you know, the end there, and it looks really good. Yeah, again, a lot like darker than I would say the what's it called, the Hasbro Sith Lords. Like, usually when they give them lightsabers, the red is a little bit more vibrant, so that it's like lighter in color. But I like this blood red for Vader, especially with the darker color scheme. I think it fits him. It looks very you know, menacing and, you know, ominous. So very, very cool. And something that I found out in a video is that apparently Vader can actually change the length of his saber when he's in battle. He has like the ability to make it longer or shorter. I guess like when he was constructing his lightsaber, he made it that way. So that kind of gives him an advantage in battle. So that's like a really cool thing. That's something I didn't know for the longest time. But that's really cool. So yeah, he's got a nice long blade for the saber there. Put it back in his hands. Oh yeah, he does have like this little piece right here that I originally thought, let me bring it back in. This little piece that sticks out right here, I thought this was the piece that pegs into the belt, but it's actually the opposite way. His saber actually has like a hole up here, right there on the silver part right there. And that's what actually keys into his belt. His belt has the peg that sticks out, so you're gonna stick, this part into that, and it should hang from his belt. So I'm gonna demonstrate that real quick. Hopefully, I'm not sure if I did this part before or after I struggled with the leg, but either way, I'm gonna try to cut all that out so you guys don't have to watch this part twice, because I did show this off yesterday. But let's see here. So yeah, you are able to get it pegged onto the side of his belt like that, and that's how it looks, and it hangs pretty good. It is like, it kind of feels like a loose fit when you first plug it in, because the peg itself feels a little small compared to the hole in the lightsaber. Like that, it seems like the hole is actually a little bit bigger than the peg, but I mean, it seems to ignore his helmet, but the lightsaber itself seems to stay on pretty good. I'm giving him a good shake. It's not falling off, so that seems pretty good. And yeah, so there is that. So you can peg it on the side of his belt and take it off. And then here is the blade, unplugged in, and it's got like a nice shape for it to get keyed in at the bottom. Let me see if we can get some focus on that. There we go. Nice kind of shape for it to get, and I like that it's like kind of cut at an angle right here, so that when it plugs into like the top of his hilt, it actually like fits very flush. SH Figuarts will usually give you like two sabers. They'll give you one unignited saber, like just the hilt, and then they'll give you one that has the hilt like attached. So like they usually don't give you detachable blades, as far as I know. So yeah, I kind of like that Mafex only gives us one, so that we don't have to worry about so many accessories, and then you can just detach the blade if you want, and then plug the hilt into the belt. So that's really cool. I think that's a little more efficient. But SH Figuarts does make some pretty strong Star Wars figures, so definitely not going to knock them for giving us extra parts. All right, so let me get this back in Vader's hand, and let's try to get him into a really quick dynamic pose. And when you're sliding the hilt into Vader's hand, you kind of want to make sure that that little piece I showed you that sticks out slides in between the gap in between his fingers and his thumbs, so that way you can push it down easily, and it won't get stuck as you try to put it in his hand, because you won't be able to really push it down. I had that issue yesterday. But yeah, let's get Vader in a nice cool pose here. I'm gonna kind of flare the cape up a little bit so he looks a little more menacing. Really nice wire cape, by the way. Very, very nice. Really like this cape on him. Like I said, it would be even better if it had a wire at the bottom, like in the back wrapping around, but having it on the sides is enough, I think, for this figure. I think it still works very, very well. Let's see, I want to get him in like a cool saber swinging pose. Alright, so I'm going to have his head like that, kind of swinging his arm back here. Now I'm not going to go too crazy with the legs, because we already know how that went, but I'm going to try to get him a little bit crouched here so that he looks kind of intimidating. Alright, so I'm going to turn the head a little bit more this way. Okay, there we go. Let me see if he can hold this stance, hopefully so. His legs are going to be kind of fighting the robe here, but see if I can get it to balance. There you go, Vader, widen that stance just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I think that's a pretty decent, pose. Nothing crazy, like I said, just a quick kind of, dashing pose. Get him swinging his saber back at you, like, right? About to do a big saber swipe at you. I think that looks pretty good, and he's able to hold it pretty well, that pose, once you get him to balance. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. Oh, I forgot my freaking display stand. Well, honestly, we don't really have time to get him on the display stand. We're gonna get straight into size comparisons at this point. But you know, next time, next Vader figure I will show him on the rotating display stand. Matter of fact, I'll do a short. I'll post a short so that you guys can see him rotating very quickly. But yeah. So for posability, I think he's actually pretty good. I think you can actually get him into some decent poses. Let me try one more real quick, just so we get a good sense of what he's able to do. Let's see, I don't think he's gonna be doing all that much with his legs anyways, because this is Darth Vader, right? He's gonna be doing more upper body stuff. But let's see, just for a little variation here. Let's see. This would look a lot better if I had his other saber wielding hand, but I'm just gonna kind of use his other arm to make it look like he's doing a two-handed saber grip. And let's see here. So there you go. He can easily, you know, reach over and grab his saber with his other hand. And I think that looks pretty good. A little side view. I'm gonna flare the cape up a little bit more, just to give him a little more dramatic effect. Okay. There we go. So there is Vader with a two-hand saber hold. And yeah, I think he looks pretty dang good, man. So for posability, it's kind of an unfair rating because, you know, with his leg, I'm kind of afraid to push it any further. I don't want to go too far with it, but I am going to give him, for the posability rating, I'm going to go ahead and say, I think he can get some pretty good poses. I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think that's fair. A good 8 out of 10, I think, is a good rating for this guy. Alright, so on the clean figurine scale, he has a solid 8 for posability. And now we have a number for all the categories, so I'm going to go ahead and add them all up so we can get our total score out of 70. So we got 10 for aesthetic, plus 10 for accuracy, plus 7 for articulation, plus 9 for accessories, plus an 8 for posability, plus 9 for the cape ability, plus 8 for the price point. And that comes out to a solid 61 out of 70. So final score, 61 out of 70. That is going to be an 87%. So he does pretty good, man. That is a strong final, rating or percentage for him. 87% out of 100. So yeah, he gets a strong B+. This Vader, this Mafex number 037, Revenge of the Sith Episode 3 Vader. All right. So that is what he gets. If you want to see the score here, this is how we rated him. All right, so we've got 10 for aesthetic, 10 for accuracy, 7 for articulation, 9 for accessories, 8 for posability, 9 for the cape ability, and an 8 for the price point of around, I think it was anywhere from 60 to 90 bucks. So yeah, I think that's a fair overall rating, 61 out of 70. So he gets an 87% or a high B, a B+. So very, very good. Strong figure, man, solid. I do recommend him if you are able to find him for a decent price. I definitely wouldn't pay over 100 for him. If, considering that Mafex didn't put it out for 100. When they made this figure, it was definitely under $100 as far as I can tell from what I was able to find online. So yeah, if you're able to find them for like around that price point, then I think the $60 to $90 range, or sorry, was it 60 to 90, somewhere in between there, 70s, 80s, I would definitely say go for it. It's a strong figure. It looks good, poses pretty well, has all the accessories that I think you could want for this version of Vader. Very early on Vader, and yeah, it looks really, really good. So with all that said, let's get straight to size comparisons, so we can head out and begin the next review, because I do have another figure to review on the review table. All right, so here is Mr. Vader. Get him standing nice and tall here. And he's a pretty tall Vader. I didn't get to measure him out in the review, but I'll make sure I do it after, and I'll have that in his height in the description. But he is a nice, tall Vader, which is good. Looks very imposing. So first up, we have him next to the Mattel Black Suit Superman from Man of Steel. And we'll do Feora from the same line. Mattel Movie Masters Feora. Alright, so here he is with each of them, and you can see Vader is quite a lot taller than both of them. He's like got about almost a head of height over each of them. So I think that looks pretty good. Vader is about, I think, 6'9". By canon, I think he's about 6'9". I only know one person in real life that's that tall. It's my friend. He is 6'9", and that guy is like a giant, man. I feel very short next to him, and I'm about like 6'2", 6'1.5". So yeah, that dude makes me feel short. But that's my buddy. All right, so here is Claire Temple from the Netflix Luke Cage series, and then we have the Peter Parker from the Marvel Legends 2-pack with Ned. I got the Spider-Man head on him. All right, and yeah, you can see Vader has pretty good amount of height on each of them. Moving on, we have some more Star Wars figures. We've got the Phase 1 Clone Trooper from Black Series on this side, and we have, of course, Reva, the third sister. I unfortunately left her lightsaber, but you can get a good sense of how much shorter she is than Vader, and she's actually like pretty tall. She's not too much shorter than him, but yeah, Vader is definitely taller than her, as he should be. I think this lineup actually looks pretty good, and even though this wasn't like the version of Vader that we saw in the Kenobi show, I still think these two would look really good in a display together. I think that looks really solid. So moving those two aside, who else we got? We got Count Dooku from the Black Series. And we have, let's see, Count Dooku on this side. On the other side, we have Dark Vision Rey from the Black Series. And I don't have her double-sided lightsaber with her, unfortunately, but I'm gonna find it later on and give it back to her. But yeah, there they are. I think that looks pretty good. Vader is still the tallest for sure, so that looks nice. Moving them aside, we've got slightly smaller scale figure. We have Zeltrax from the Bandai line, and we have the gold label McFarlane Toys Catwoman from the Batman. And let me see if I can get her standing. She was standing a second ago. Come on here. Get this foot a little more flat. How about that? Wow, now she doesn't want to stand. She was literally just standing before I picked her up. Okay, hold up. There you go, there you go. There you go. Okay, let's see if we can get you. Okay, there we go. So there he is with the McFarlane Toys gold label Catwoman, and Zeltrax on his other side. Obviously, Zeltrax much shorter than Vader. Catwoman is actually a little bit taller than him, as she should be, because McFarlane Toys is a 7-inch scale line. So yeah, there you go. And for another taller type of figure, here's a figure we haven't seen in ages. This is the Marvel Select Black Widow, the comic version. Still a very nice figure. Very, very nice looking figure there. Pretty tall. And then on his other side, we will get Killmonger from Hasbro Marvel Legends. All right, here is Killmonger with him. And they scale pretty good. Killmonger is like almost the same height as Vader, actually. They're pretty close in height, so there you go. Even though Eric, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan definitely is nowhere near 6'9", so maybe that won't be like the best, comparison in a display, but yeah, there is the height nonetheless. Here's the Udon Taskmaster from Marvel Legends. And I always call him the Udon Taskmaster, but I don't actually know. That's not, I think, his actual name. I just forget. The wave that he came out in was very vague, so I don't know it off top. But here is Taskmaster, and on his other side we have Titanium Man. Not a Marvel Legends. This is from the early Iron Man line. But nonetheless, I think he scales all right with Vader. He's a pretty tall next to Vader. So there you go. And last but not least, we have the two of the main Spider-Man live-action movie figures. We have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from Toy Biz from the first movie, and then on his other side we have Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit from Mafex that I just reviewed, and they look pretty good. I would say Andrew is actually a little bit, just slightly shorter than Vader from the top of the helmet, and Toby is definitely shorter, quite a good amount shorter than Vader there. So there you go. So yeah, that's it for the review, guys. That is the conclusion. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this was informative. Again, I'm gonna have links for those other reviews in the description. Yeah, going forward, I'm definitely gonna be using the clean figurine scale. I think it'll help us move things along a little more quickly in the reviews, and it'll be effective in discovering whether the figure is actually worth it when considering the price point and all that it's capable of and what it comes with. So gonna be doing that going forward. If you're new, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any dope content that's coming up. We are gonna have some more giveaways going on, some more comic reviews on the channel, film reviews, all types of stuff. We'll even be looking at music very soon here, so be sure to subscribe. All right, appreciate you guys. This has been your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Mafex number 037 Darth Vader figure. Really solid figure. Do recommend it if you are able to find it for a good price. So all that being said, keep the action going, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace and love. Sheesh.